Just days between the first symptoms of the disease and death, in the summer of 2014, Cassandra Campbell became a mother for the first time. She just left the hospital with her newborn son and couldn't have been happier. Her life was full. She had a husband who loved her, a beautiful baby, and her tattoo parlor was becoming very popular. Everything was going well. However, the appearance of an insignificant blemish on her skin would come to change everything. A small spot on her skin marked the beginning of her death. Campbell was a new mother living in West Michigan. She was in the most exciting time of her life. She just started a new home and was finally seeing her tattoo parlor project come to fruition. One day in July, while Cassandra was at home tending to her new baby, she noticed a small spot on her skin. Of course, she assumed it was an insect bite and didn't think much of it. But days later, the spot gave way to a rash. Concerned for their relative's health, Cassandra's family got hold of 2 antibiotics they could give her, as she was breastfeeding at the time. They went to a health center for medical help and she was prescribed a treatment for her rash. They returned home in the hope that as the days went by, the rash would go away and everything would return to normal. Soon, however, her condition worsened and she began to exhibit very flu-like symptoms. After that, Cassandra had to be taken to the hospital several times to receive her new treatment. Despite medical efforts, her condition didn't seem to improve. Cassandra's health was increasingly delicate. Neither she nor her family could understand what was behind this strange illness. I received a call from my daughter's husband telling me that she could not see. Her eyes were blindfolded and she couldn't walk. Cindy Shoemaker, Cassandra's mother, told WXMI News in August 2014. He sounded really distraught when he called me. We were all in despair. We didn't understand what was going on with my daughter's health. After that, Cassandra was admitted to the hospital where specialists tried to discover the cause of her symptoms. At first, the doctors were unable to find answers about the girl's blistered skin. However, after days of examinations and studies, they reached a verdict. Campbell was diagnosed with a strange pathology known as Stevens-Johnson syndrome, SJS, a rare disease. Experts say that the SJS disease may be caused by an adverse reaction to the components of some medications. Others, however, believe it may stem from an infection. Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a rare disease that affects the skin, producing blisters and subsequent detachment. If not treated quickly or properly, it can lead to death. The team of doctors handling Campbell's case understood their time was short. They had to act fast in this battle against the clock. The doctors had no choice but to treat Cassandra like a burn patient at the Bronson Burn and Wound Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan. For her skin was breaking down as the blisters grew, and her skin was peeling. Despite all the efforts of the medical team in the Michigan hospital, Cassandra Campbell ran out of strength and eventually died of complications from the disease. They had done everything possible to keep her alive, even attempting cardiopulmonary resuscitation 3 times. However, all efforts were in vain. The doctors knew that she'd received antibiotics, but they were unable to determine which particular substance caused her to develop this violent reaction. It was hard. The biggest fear I always had was losing one of my children, Mrs. Shoemaker told WXMI TV's cameras, her voice breaking. Campbell's sudden death left her family, husband, and friends heartbroken. Now her infant son was left motherless at just 3 weeks old. The rare disease that took Campbell away from her family came to fame in 2010 after the death of basketball star Manute Bol, who was visiting his native Sudan and also died of the syndrome. Bol had traveled to his country in an effort to promote peace and unity among warring groups in Sudan. However, during his stay in the nation, symptoms of the disease developed, causing severe blisters. He spent a full week without food or drink before being forced to return to the United States, where he died at the age of 47. It is believed that the cause of his illness was medication Bol was using to fight a kidney infection. He arrived in Sudan with his kidney problems and had to take the medication to be able to make different charity trips around the country. Just as this disease took the life of Bol, an athlete who was fighting for peace in his land, and also that of Cassandra, a young woman with a newborn and many projects, SJS can affect anyone. For their part, Campbell's family seeks to make us all aware of the risks of this cruel disease so that as many lives as possible can be saved.